Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has launched the Expatriate Employment Levy, EEL, a mandatory contribution imposed on organizations that employ expatriate workers in Nigeria. This was as he promised that his administration is putting measures in place to as soon as possible overcome the prevailing situation in the country, saying there is an immediate light at the end of the tunnel. The president also stated that he was confident that the levy would improve revenue, indigenization, and balancing employment opportunities in the country. Tinubu, who described the initiative as a game changer, says, "It is important to know that EEL is a contribution recently approved by the government which will impose an effective timeline on expatriates working in this country to be able to train and develop Nigerians." President Bola Tinubu has explained that the decision taken to remove subsidy on petrol was a challenging one but necessary to ensure a transparent and accountable energy sector. The president, who spoke at the opening of the 2024 Nigerian International Energy Summit, NIES, in Abuja, acknowledged that the decision has led to hardship, especially amongst low-income earners, assuring that eventually the economy will improve and the benefits will manifest. Represented by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, Tinubu said energy security was a priority for his administration. He stated that the petroleum subsidy has over the years stained our economic resources, leading to inefficiencies and, most importantly, hindering our ability to invest in critical areas of energy security. President Bola Tinubu is expected to arrive in Ondo State soon as for a condolence visit to the family of the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, in Owo. It was almost lent that the president would visit the Olowo of Owo Kingdom, Oba Ajibade Ogunoye, after which he will visit the national leader of the Pan-Yoruba Social-Political Organization, Afenifere, Chief Reuben Fasuranti, in Akure, the state capital. The president is expected to make the visit in company of the state governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, and some national and state leaders of the All Progressive Congress. The federal government has said it will extend its social security payment net to graduates with qualifications from NCE and above. Addressing journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, disclosed that the program would see unemployed Nigerian youths being paid stipends. Similarly, Edun stated that the federal government will urgently establish a consumer credit scheme to alleviate the pains of economic adjustment. He noted that the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajagbe-Amila, will lead a committee that includes the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Attorney General of the Federation, and himself, the Coordinating Minister of Economy. Governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri, has said that his administration was working towards cushioning the efforts of prevailing economic hardship in the country on workers in the state. Senator Diri stated this while addressing members of the state chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, led by Chairman Barnabas Simeon, on a nationwide protest against hunger and poverty at the government house, Yenangwa. The governor assured that he would meet with the state's head of service and the NLC chairman to discuss the modalities to reduce the working hours of civil servants in the state with a view of mitigating their plight. While commending the NLC for peacefully carrying out the protest, he equally applauded the security agencies for allowing the protest to hold, as it was a national directive to all Nigerian workers. Over down to the Federal Capital Territory Administration inaugurated one of the private sector transportation scheme to provide secure and efficient mass transit in Abuja. The inauguration of the 14 high-capacity and air-conditioned buses was said to be the beginning of a transportation system designed to end the menace of robbery through the so-called One Chance syndicate in the city. Inaugurating the buses, the Mandate Secretary of Transportation of FCTA, Ubokutum Iyang, noted that FCT Minister Yosem Wike had the vision of changing the narrative of the transportation system of Abuja. Iyang revealed that many other private sector investors were expected to join in the effort to provide alternative sources of transportation that would be reliable and affordable. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has signed a memorandum of understanding with Yasin Limited, a United Kingdom-based weather and climate service consultancy, to partner in key areas that will lead to the improved service delivery by the agency. Speaking at the MOU signing, the NIMNET Director General Charles Onosike said the partnership will further strengthen the agency's commitment to providing world-class weather and climate information services to Nigerians in the various industry sectors that it serves. Those present at the event include the Executive Director of Legal Service of NIMNET, Shola Gabriel, and other staff of the agency. Members of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and others in the Federal Capital Territory have insisted that the two-day protest by members of the union and some Nigerians is aimed at drawing government's attention to the economic hardship in the country and not focus on the clamor for a view of the minimum wage for the Nigerian workers. Our correspondent Edikan Michael, who followed the protest, now presents his report. Thousands of Nigerians have stormed the National Assembly complex in support of the reforms so far out in place by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reposition the country. The protesters who converged at the Abuja Unity Fountain staged a peaceful walk to the National Assembly complex, calling on the organized labor NLC to call off their nationwide strike action. The protesters, who bandaged various placards in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration, called on the organized labor to call off the strike action in the interests of the nation. They urged the NLC to engage in a constructive dialogue with the government instead of grounding economic activities, exacerbating the issues, and further making it hard for the common man. Eremos Ekpan, the Cross River Commissioner of Information, says the proposed construction of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Superhighway will boost tourism and agriculture in the state. Commissioner, who spoke in an interview in Calabar says that the coastal super highway was long overdue. President Tinubu had on Monday at the Federal Executive Council meeting approved the construction of the coastal road. According to Ekpang, the road, when completed, will improve on the economy of Cross River and other states within the corridor of the coastal road. Over now to the Kano Zonal Command of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has apprehended 11 suspects for engaging in currency racketeering in Kano State. The suspects were taken into custody following an intelligence-driven investigation that exposed a syndicate operating in proximity to the Central Bank of Nigeria branch along Lagos Street in Kano metropolis. The FCC, in an official statement posted on its verified X handle, disclosed that the apprehended individuals were allegedly involved in the illicit sale of new Naira notes for commercial purposes. Over now to the Nigerian National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has intercepted the largest heroin consignment at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos State. The chairman of the NDLEA, Buba Marwa, disclosed that while briefing journalists in Lagos, the agency also arrested members of an organized criminal organization that specializes in trafficking heroin across Nigeria, South Africa, Mozambique, Europe, and America, an operation leading to the seizure of the consignment. Commandant Jamilu Indabawa disclosed this in Castina. Indabawa disclosed this while receiving Jibril Tesriq, chairman of the committee set up by the state government to monitor the prices and movement of grains in the state. Earlier, Tesriq, who is also the chief of staff to the governor, commended the NSCDC on their effort across the state. He revealed that the task force was established to monitor the prices of foodstuffs, address hoarding of grains, movement of food commodities, and any act that will lead to the price hike. Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo has disclosed that 5 people were killed while 26 others were rescued when a 2-story building collapsed at Odu Igbo Market, Ochonga, Onitsha. The governor spoke at the site at the collapsed building in Onitsha. According to Soludo, rescue efforts are still ongoing to save those still trapped under the rubble. The governor also stated that the state government will pay the medical bills of those receiving treatment in the hospitals. He expressed deep condolences to the family of those who lost their lives in the ugly incident. Soludo also ordered the contractor handling the collapsed building to clear the debris at his own cost. He says impunity of building with unapproved plans has remained one of the major problems in the state. He instructed that buildings shall only be erected in any Anambra market with approval from the state physical planning and his signature affixed. The Nigerian Customs Service has announced a suspension of the sale of foodstuffs following a stampede that reportedly killed 7 persons at the NCS Old Zone headquarters in Yaba area of Lagos State. The Chief Superintendent of the Customs and National Public Relations Officer for Controller General of Customs, Abdullahi Mewada, in a statement disclosed the suspension of the exercise. Nigerian Customs has said it was selling seized food items at 10,000 naira per 25 kg to alleviate the people's suffering as a result of the current high cost of living and other economic hardship. On Friday, pregnant women and 6 others reportedly died in the stampede after some suspected hoodlums attempted to force their way into the Yaba Customs Office compound. Residents of Ibino local government area have called out for help against the destruction of life and property meted on them by the people of Eket and Isit Eket local government area under the aegis of Coalition of Coastal Aboriginal Communities of Akwa Ibom. The call was a sequel to the invasion and attack on the Ibano people by members of the coalition. Verified information has said that before a team of policemen and other security agencies could intervene and stop an arson attempt on the mobile filling station along QIT Road, Ibano, owned by Samuel Ekpeyong, the invaders killed 3 persons, maimed many others, and burnt down over 24 houses, including Foursquare Church in Iwachang, a community in Ibano. You're watching Midday News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times channel 276. Can you follow us on all social media platforms using the Global TV NG and the handles now showing on your screen. When Midday News return, FCTA inaugurates mass transits. This and other more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. And over now to our foreign desk, Hong Kong has axed 3 major property transaction taxes in a bid to revive its depressed housing market, Finance Minister Paul Chang said in his annual budget speech. The finance hub is among the world's least affordable residential markets, but home prices retreated last year amid high interest rates and China's economic slowdown. Chan said Hong Kong immediately scrapped 3 types of stamp duties reversing measures introduced more than a decade ago to rein a speculation fueled in the parts of mainland China buyers. 6 months after bringing the curtain down on the 55-year-old Bongo dynasty, Gabon's military leader remains popular despite criticism of authoritarian governance that is slow to fulfill promises. Many Gabonese rejoiced when Ali Bongo was overthrown in a bloodless coup on August 30th, an hour after becoming proclaimed the winner of a presidential election, which the army and opposition declared fraudulent. Coup leader General Brice Oligui Nguema, 48, was swiftly sworn in as transitional president of the oil-rich Central African nation, promising the return of civilian rule with election. Polls have since been set for August 2025 under a timetable that first foresees national dialogue scheduled for April this year that will be made up of all the country's vital actors. French President Emmanuel Macron has said it is key for Europe's security to defeat Russia in Ukraine amid urgent plea for more weapons from Kyiv. He was speaking in Paris, where he said the European leaders had agreed to set up a coalition to give Ukraine medium and long-range missiles and bombs. He added that there was no consensus on sending Western troops to Ukraine, but nothing should be excluded. Russian troops made recent grades in Ukraine, which faces big arms shortages. A quick look at business. The federal government announced that $700 million Obakom-Oben gas pipeline, popularly called OB3, will be completed in March 2024. A budget that commenced in 2016, it announced this at the ongoing 7th Nigerian International Energy Summit in Abuja, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has provided some explanations on why his government had to remove petrol subsidy despite how difficult it was. Providing a couple of status reports on Nigeria's gas sector during his remark at the summit, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Eperekpe Ekpong, described the OB3 gas pipeline as one of the biggest gas transmission systems in both Nigeria and Africa. Over now to the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, has vowed to pursue an aggressive regulatory environment to reduce infractions in the government's banking system. He said this in Abuja at the Monetary Policy Committee meeting at the Apex Bank, the first since he assumed office in September 2023. He also stated that an in-depth investigation was underway to determine the necessary action against banks involved in infractions, stressing that the bank was in the process of formulating stringent regulations to cleanse and purify the country's foreign exchange market. Still on the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN has declared that it will be selling foreign exchange value at $20,000 to all qualifying Bureau de Change operators nationwide. This initiative is a component of larger attempts by the Apex Bank to stabilize the Naira's exchange rate and reduce the forces that fuel the black market. This was made public by the top bank in a fresh circular that was signed by Hassan Mamoun, the Director of Trade and Exchange Department. This said the allocation will be sold at the rate of 1,130 naira per dollar, reflecting the lower brand rate of excluded spot transactions at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market as of the previous trading day, dated February 27, 2024. Communities in Adamawa, Jos, Taraba, and Gombe states will experience 4-hour power outage by February 27th. The Transmission Company of Nigeria disclosed in a statement signed by its Public Affairs General Manager, Ndidi Umba. According to Umba, the outages will occur because the TCN maintenance crew would test and inaugurate the new red-phase current transformer at Gombe Transmission Substation from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. As a result, Umba noted that the Jos and Yola electricity distribution companies will be unable to supply electricity to their customers within Gombe, Biu, Pakistan, Potiskum, Yola, Savannah, Jalingo, Maya, Balwa, and Damaturu towns within 4 hours. And over now to entertainment, South African police have apprehended 6 suspects connected with the murder of popular rapper Kenan Forbes, mostly known as AKA, and his close friend, celebrity chef and entrepreneur. Talbot's thieves Musburn, the duo, were murdered on February 10, 2023 while walking with a friend outside a popular Durban restaurant hours before this was to perform at a nearby club until his demise. He won several awards in South Africa and was lauded globally. He earned a Black Entertainment Television and MTV Europe nomination, and he was honored in the 2023 BET Hip Hop Awards. According to the police, the suspects are to appear in court on Thursday. French police have seized 72 firearms and more than 3,000 rounds of ammunition from the home of screen legend Alain Delon. A shooting range was also found at the actor's home in Durchi, about 135 kilometers, 84 miles south of Paris. Prosecutors said Delon did not have a permit to allow him to own a gun. The search on Tuesday was ordered after a court-appointed official sent to Delon's home noted a weapon and alerted a judge. The breakdown of his family has also been making headlines in France. His 2 children have been laid their mutual grievances before the media in a series of insult accusations, lawsuits, and secret recordings. And that's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using a Global TV and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good afternoon.